It was a cold, foggy evening in London when Detective Arthur Collins received an unexpected visitor. The clock struck 9 as a young woman, dressed in a dark coat and a hat pulled low over her face, entered his small office. She looked nervous, her hands trembling as she clutched a yellow glove. "Detective Collins," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "I need your help. My brother has gone missing, and I fear something terrible has happened to him." Detective Collins, a tall man with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor, gestured for her to sit. "Please, tell me everything," he said, leaning forward in his chair. The woman introduced herself as Miss Eleanor Hart. Her brother, Thomas Hart, was a well-known businessman who had vanished 3 days ago. The only clue left behind was a single yellow glove found on the doorstep of their family home. "Thomas would never leave without telling me," Eleanor said, her voice breaking. "And this glove, it doesn't belong to him. I don't know what it means, but I'm sure it's connected to his disappearance." Detective Collins examined the glove carefully. It was made of fine leather, slightly worn, with a small monogram on the cuff, J.W. "Do you know anyone with the initials J.W.?" he asked. Eleanor shook her head. "No, but Thomas had been acting strangely lately. He mentioned meeting someone new, a business partner, but he never gave me any details." The detective nodded. "Very well. I'll take the case. Let's start by visiting your brother's office. There might be something there that can help us." The next morning, Detective Collins and Eleanor arrived at Thomas Hart's office. It was a small but tidy room, filled with papers and ledgers. Collins began searching through the desk drawers, while Eleanor looked around nervously. "Did your brother have any enemies?" Collins asked, as he sifted through the papers. "Not that I know of," Eleanor replied. "He was a kind man, well-liked by everyone." Just then, Collins found a crumpled piece of paper in the wastebasket. It was a note, hastily written, "Meet me at the old warehouse by the docks. Midnight. J.W." "This could be our lead," Collins said, holding up the note. "Do you know which warehouse it might be?" Eleanor thought for a moment. "There's an abandoned warehouse near the river. Thomas used to mention it sometimes." That night, Detective Collins and Eleanor made their way to the warehouse. The fog was thicker now, and the streets were eerily quiet. As they approached the building, they noticed a faint light coming from inside. Collins motioned for Eleanor to stay back as he crept closer. Peering through a broken window, he saw a man pacing back and forth, holding a lantern. The man was wearing a yellow glove. "J.W.," Collins whispered to himself. He signaled to Eleanor to wait outside and then quietly entered the warehouse. The man turned sharply, startled by the sound. "Who's there?" he demanded. "Detective Arthur Collins," the detective replied, stepping into the light. "And you must be J.W." The man hesitated, then sighed. "Yes, I'm James Whitaker. But I swear, I didn't harm Thomas. He's my friend." "Then where is he?" Collins asked, his voice firm. Whitaker looked down, his face filled with guilt. He's locked in the basement. I didn't want to hurt him, but he found out about my secret. I had no choice." "What secret?" Collins pressed. Whitaker hesitated again, then finally confessed. "I've been involved in smuggling. Thomas discovered the truth and threatened to expose me. I panicked and locked him up, but I never meant for things to go this far." Collins quickly located the basement and freed Thomas, who was unharmed but shaken. As they left the warehouse, Collins turned to Whitaker. "You'll have to face the consequences of your actions," he said. But at least no one was hurt. Back at his office, Detective Collins handed the yellow glove to Eleanor. It seems this glove belonged to Whitaker. He must have dropped it when he took your brother. Eleanor smiled gratefully. Thank you, Detective. I don't know what I would have done without your help. Collins nodded. It's all in a day's work. Just remember, in a world full of mysteries, the truth always finds a way to come out. And with that, the case of the yellow glove was closed.